Once upon a time, in the old days, there was the foolishest man in the city. One day, fleeing from his troublemakers, he entered a town he did not know and, having no clue where to go, went to the mosque. There he laid his head upon his knees, feeling deeply sorrowful. The stranger man was lost in thought, pondering how he might earn his bread. As he brooded, a woman, veiled and modest, approached him and asked about his well-being. The stranger told his story to the woman. "I will give you 2 dinars. Let us go inside the mosque, speak to the sheikh, and tell him that this woman is my wife. I am poor and cannot provide for her. I will forgive her dowry so that I may divorce her. And I will give the money for the divorce. With these 2 dinars you may spend as you wish. God provides a way." The stranger agreed, took the money, and hid it under a tree to collect later. Together they went to the sheikh. When the sheikh understood the situation, he asked, "Why do you wish to divorce your wife?" The man replied, "Sir, life is hard. I cannot provide for her, and she herself desired the divorce." The sheikh said to the woman, "Woman, be patient with your husband. Divorce is a grave matter." The woman sighed and said, "Sir, these are not men who can provide for a wife. My life is past. I cannot live with him. I have forgiven my dowry and ask no support. Please grant me the divorce so that my soul may be free." The sheikh pronounced the divorce and handed them the written certificate. The woman asked, "Sir, am I now free?" "Yes," said the sheikh. "Can I not return to him?" she asked. "Since you forgave your dowry, if you wish, you may return to him, but he cannot return to you. He has no right," the sheikh replied. The woman revealed a tiny infant from beneath her veil, saying, "Then let him take his child and raise it himself." The poor man, seeing the child, was astonished and thought, "Woe is me! What has befallen me?" He shouted, "Sir Sheikh, this woman is not my wife at all." The sheikh said, "It's true, she is no longer your wife." The man said, "No, I mean this lady was never my wife from the beginning." The sheikh said, "Shame on you! So you never loved her and never truly accepted her as your wife? Then it is better that you divorced her. The poor woman was right." But just as the man tried to explain and defend himself, the sheikh said, "Enough! Go outside. I have much work to do." The poor man, seeing no other way, took the child and sat in a corner of the mosque. He placed a pacifier in the child's mouth, gently patted its back, and sang a lullaby until the baby fell asleep. Meanwhile, he carefully watched his surroundings to ensure no one was near. Seeing no one, he quietly stood up and quickened his steps, planning to flee. By chance, one of the sheikh's students had been watching from above and had witnessed the entire scene. He threw his shoe at the stranger's head and shouted, "Hey, coward! Where do you think you are going?" "Ah, so it's you who leaves a child here every day and runs away? We'll settle this now." Suddenly, the sheikh's students and the mosque students surrounded him and beat him. Then they brought 8 more children and placed them beside him, saying, "Quickly, gather your children and go." The man thought to himself that protesting would be useless. He shouted, "Are you even human? How am I supposed to carry all 9 of these children?" One of the attendants went and brought a basket, saying, "Place your children inside and take them with you." The poor man arranged the children in the basket and stepped out of the mosque. Soon he reached the bustling fruit market, where a fruit seller shouted, "Sir, how much for these pears?" Upon hearing this, the man felt revived, exclaiming, "Oh no, I left my money at home." Before the children made a sound, he set the basket down and, under the pretense of fetching his money, bolted away. The stranger sped away, too fearful to look back, running as fast as he could until he finally left the town. He reached a river, exhausted and parched, and drank deeply. As he began washing his face, suddenly a rider appeared, unhooked a water skin from his saddle, and said, "Brother, please fill this water skin and hand it to me. Be careful and hold the water skin firmly. The river can be strong and its waves unpredictable," the rider warned. Ignoring the rider's word, the stranger dunked the water skin into the river. Suddenly, a wave surged, and the skin slipped from his hands and floated away. The rider wiped the man across the back, shouting, "Didn't I tell you to be careful?" The stranger thought to himself that if he stayed, he would be beaten severely. So he took off running. The rider chased him, and the poor man glanced frantically around, seeking a way out. Suddenly, he spotted a ruined building and dashed inside. The rider dismounted and entered the ruins. Seeing that the man could not escape, the poor man surrounded. The rider said, "You must pay for my water skin." The man replied, "Believe me, I have no money." "Very well," said the rider. "Then you shall serve me in my house for the value of the water skin, and in return I will provide you with food and lodging." The poor man thought to himself, "How fortunate that the water skin slipped. I found work and sustenance," he said happily. "Please tell me what to do, master." The rider, who had a dog and a chicken with him, handed them to the man and said, "Go to the house and tell my wife that I'm expecting guests tonight. In 3 hours I shall return. Help her prepare a proper dinner." Then he gave the stranger the address and left. The stranger took hold of the dog's leash and set off. But along the way, the chicken scratched and pecked at him. No matter what he tried, he could not calm it. So he sat down, wrapped the chicken tightly in a cloth, tied it securely, and continued on his way. Along the way, the neighborhood dogs saw his dog and attacked. The poor man held the leash tightly, fearing the dog might escape, but the local dogs tore it apart. The leash remained in his hands, and sadly the poor dog died. The stranger picked up the leash and went to the house, knocking on the door. A woman called from inside. "Who is it?" The man replied, "Your servant. The master gave me his dog and chicken to bring to the house and inform you that there will be guests tonight. But the neighborhood dogs attacked the poor dog and killed him. I was lucky they didn't harm me. I held the leash tightly, afraid that the master's dog might escape," he explained. The woman exclaimed, "You fool! This has happened many times. The neighborhood dogs bully, yes, but if you had let go of the leash, our dog would have fought them and saved itself." The stranger began to cry, fearful of the master's punishment. The woman, feeling pity for him, said, "Don't worry now. Tell me, where is the chicken?" The man replied, "Don't worry, she is safe. I wrapped her in clothes." The woman said, "Oh no, surely the poor thing is dead." When they unwrapped the clothes, they saw that yes, the poor chicken had suffocated. "Shame on you! How foolish you are!" the woman scolded. The poor man began begging, and the woman said, "Well, it's done now. Come, help me prepare a fine dinner. Perhaps the master will forgive you." The man went to fetch firewood, and the woman began cooking. Suddenly, the baby in the cradle started crying. The woman said, "You go and rock the baby until he calms down while I finish cooking." The man came to the cradle, but no matter how he rocked, the baby remained restless. He thought, "Surely the child is hungry." He searched the shelf for food and suddenly found a bottle of water. He gave it to the baby, who drank and then fell asleep. The man went to help the woman with her tasks. The woman thought to herself, "Though he is foolish, he is surprisingly capable with children." The woman finished cooking and after some time went to check on the baby. He was still asleep. Some more time passed, yet the baby did not wake. The woman became worried and asked the stranger, "How did you put the baby to sleep so that he hasn't woken up?" The man said, "It was simple. I found a bottle of water and gave it to him. He drank and fell asleep. I was surprised myself. The poor thing was very thirsty." The mother looked by the cradle and saw that the bottle contained the master's sleep potion. She exclaimed, "Shame on you! That was not water. It was the master's sleep potion. If anything happens to the baby, the master will kill you." The poor man was terrified and thought, "Today the master was furious about the water skin. If he finds out what has happened to the chicken, dog, and baby, he will ruin me." The woman took the baby and fed him plenty of milk to counteract the effects of the potion. After some time, the master arrived with guests. The woman opened the door and recounted the tale of the chicken and dog, but said nothing about the baby. Seeing that the situation was beyond remedy, he called the servant. He handed him a horse and a sharp knife and said, "Take the horse to the stable and tie him up. There is also a sick cow in the stable. Check on it constantly. If it worsens, behead it." The servant took the horse and knife into the stable, tied the horse, fed him, and lay down on the stable bench, extinguishing the light. At midnight he awoke and saw the cow making noises. In the darkness he beheaded the cow and then went back to sleep. In the morning he realized, "Oh no, I have beheaded the horse, and the cow has died from its illness." The poor man realized there was no place for him here. He opened the yard gate and fled the town. After that, no one knew where he went or what further mischief he caused. And so ends the tale of the man who, through his carelessness and foolishness, acted without thought and ultimately caused disaster. A wise person considers carefully the tasks before them and weighs the consequences. Dear friends, thank you for staying with us until the end of this story. Follow us to enjoy more tales.